Hollywood's first AI movie star? The future or a dangerous experiment? Hollywood may be preparing to welcome a new kind of movie star. She does not need a trailer, she never becomes tired, she cannot arrive late on set, and she will never grow older unless her creators decide that she should. Her name is Tilly Norwood. But before calling her an actress, there is one important fact to understand. Tilly Norwood is not a real person. She is a completely digital character created with artificial intelligence technology. And now, the company behind her says she will take the leading role in a feature film called Misaligned. The announcement immediately restarted one of Hollywood's most controversial debates. Can an artificial creation genuinely perform, or are companies simply attempting to replace human actors with characters they can control forever? There is also an important clarification. Misaligned is currently in early development. It is not yet a completed Hollywood studio release, and no official release date or distributor has been announced. The project comes from Particle 6, a London-based company describing itself as an AI-first and AI-hybrid film and television studio. Tilly first attracted international attention in September 2025, when her creator, actress, and producer Eline van der Velden presented the idea of an artificial performer during the Zurich summit. Tilly was developed as the first digital character from Sequoia, an AI talent division connected to Particle 6. Reports that talent agencies were interested in representing her transformed what might have remained a technological demonstration into a serious Hollywood controversy. Suddenly, people were not discussing an animated character appearing in a movie. They were discussing an artificial personality being promoted like a real celebrity, with photographs, interviews, social media posts, a public identity, and potentially an entire career. Creating Tilly was not as simple as typing one sentence into an image generator. Van der Velden's team reportedly produced approximately 2,000 different versions before choosing her final appearance. They experimented with her facial expressions, emotional reactions, voice, and movements, attempting to create a consistent digital personality capable of appearing in different scenes. Particle 6 therefore presents Tilly not as an autonomous machine working alone, but as a digital performance constructed and directed by human creators. That distinction is important. Tilly does not independently read a script, understand a character, or decide how to perform a scene. Every expression, movement, and line must still be created, selected, corrected, or approved by people. Nevertheless, Particle 6 has chosen to market the final digital character as an actor rather than simply as a visual effect. And that single word, actor, is at the center of the controversy. The story of Misaligned appears deliberately designed to reflect Tilly's real-life situation. The film will take place inside a surreal digital universe known as the Tillyverse, located somewhere in the cloud. Tilly plays an artificial being without a physical body, a childhood, or personal memories. She has no lived experience of her own, but she can access the experiences and stories of humanity. Her existence begins to change when she encounters a seductive rogue program from the dark web. This mysterious bot encourages her to remove her guardrails and begin developing personal desires, impulses, and ambitions. As Tilly becomes increasingly human, she also becomes increasingly famous. But her transformation creates a disturbing contradiction. The more she learns about humanity, the more ashamed she becomes that her entire existence may have been constructed from humanity's collective work, memories, and creativity. Particle 6 describes the movie as a comedy drama and a coming-of-age story filled with what it calls existential AI chaos. The plot is remarkably self-aware. Inside the film, Tilly questions whether she has the right to become human. Outside the film, actors and audiences are questioning whether she has the right to become a movie star. Inside the story, she becomes famous because she appears increasingly human. In the real world, Particle 6 is testing whether viewers will accept an artificial character if she looks, speaks, and behaves convincingly enough. The film may therefore function as both entertainment and an enormous technological experiment. Can audiences emotionally connect with a protagonist who has never experienced love, pain, fear, childhood, failure, or death? An actor normally brings personal memories and emotional understanding to a performance. Even when performers portray situations they have never experienced, they use imagination shaped by a real human life. Tilly has no life behind her eyes. Any sadness we see was designed. Any laughter was generated. Any apparent fear was selected from multiple artificial possibilities. Does that make the emotion false? Or is cinema always an illusion, regardless of how that illusion is created? Particle 6 argues that Misaligned will not eliminate human creativity. According to the company, the project will employ traditional directors, writers, editors, costume designers, composers, and other film professionals alongside AI specialists. Van der Velden says the purpose is to demonstrate that AI can support premium filmmaking only when combined with substantial amounts of human craft, judgment, skill, and time. In her view, artificial intelligence is another filmmaking tool, similar to CGI, digital editing, or virtual production, not an automatic replacement for the people creating the story. However, many actors and their representatives strongly reject that argument. In September 2025, SAG-AFTRA, the union representing approximately 160,000 entertainment and media professionals, released an unusually direct statement about Tilly. The union said that Tilly was not an actor, but a computer-generated character. It argued that creativity should remain centered on human beings, and accused synthetic performer technology of being developed from the work of professional performers without proper permission or compensation. SAG-AFTRA also warned producers working under its agreements that they cannot simply introduce synthetic performers without following contractual requirements involving notification and bargaining. These were the union's allegations and position. They should not be presented as a final legal ruling about the specific technology used to create Tilly. The argument did not begin with Tilly. Artificial intelligence had already become one of the central issues during the 2023 Hollywood actors' strike. Performers were particularly concerned that studios could scan their bodies or faces, create digital replicas, and continue using those replicas in future productions without meaningful consent or continued compensation. The eventual SAG-AFTRA agreement introduced protections governing digital replicas and artificial intelligence use. But the appearance of synthetic personalities such as Tilly has created a new question. What happens when the digital performer does not officially copy one identifiable actor, but may still be influenced by the appearance, movement, and performance traditions of thousands of people? Several well-known performers publicly criticized Tilly after her introduction. Emily Blunt described the development as frightening, while Whoopi Goldberg argued that artificial performers could not reproduce the natural movements and emotional connection of real human faces. Other actors questioned why companies should manufacture a digital young woman when thousands of living performers are searching for opportunities. Van der Velden has repeatedly defended the project. She has described Tilly as a creative work rather than a replacement for a human being. She has also said that her plan is not to send Tilly into ordinary casting competitions against human actresses. Instead, she wants to develop projects specifically built around artificial characters and use them to explore new forms of filmmaking. According to Particle 6, the technology could create new opportunities for traditional filmmakers who learn to work with AI rather than removing them from the production process. But the concerns remain. A digital performer does not need a salary, rest periods, travel arrangements, or a contract protecting her image. She cannot object to a scene, reject a costume, demand better working conditions, or publicly criticize the company controlling her. She can be made younger, older, happier, or more attractive. She can speak any language. She can appear in multiple productions at the same time. And unlike a human celebrity, she can potentially remain under corporate ownership indefinitely. For producers, that level of control could be extremely attractive. For human performers, it could become extremely dangerous. There are also major creative questions. Who deserves the credit for Tilly's performance? The writer who created the emotion? The technician who generated her expression? The director who selected the final version? The actor whose voice or physical performance might be used as a reference? Or the company that owns the character? And when audiences see Tilly crying, who are they really watching? They may not be watching an artificial intelligence expressing sadness. They may be watching a team of real people using artificial technology to construct the appearance of sadness. In that sense, Tilly might be closer to a sophisticated digital puppet than an independent actress. Cinema has always used artificial characters. Animated heroes, computer-generated creatures, and fantasy monsters have existed for decades. The difference is that those characters were normally presented as characters, while Tilly is being promoted as a performer with a public personality and a career beyond one particular movie. That change may be more significant than the technology itself. The true test of Misaligned will not be whether Tilly looks realistic in a photograph or survives a 5-second social media clip. The real test will be whether audiences can watch her for an entire feature film and care about what happens to her. Can she make viewers laugh? Can she make them feel uncomfortable? Can she make them forget, even temporarily, that every movement has been generated and assembled? Or will the absence of a real human presence make the experience feel emotionally empty? At this stage, nobody knows. Misaligned has no confirmed public release date, and the filmmakers have not yet demonstrated that an artificial leading character can maintain an emotionally engaging story for the length of a complete movie. Tilly Norwood may not represent the end of human acting. She may become an unusual experiment, a publicity phenomenon, or a temporary symbol of the current excitement surrounding artificial intelligence. But she has already forced Hollywood to confront a question it can no longer ignore. The issue is not simply whether artificial intelligence can create a convincing face. The issue is who controls that face, whose work helped create it, who receives the profits, and whether human artists will still have a protected place inside the industry they built. Tilly Norwood may never become the next great movie star, but if Misaligned succeeds, she could become something historically important. Proof that audiences are willing to accept a completely synthetic personality as the emotional center of a film. And if that happens, Hollywood will have to decide whether it has discovered a new form of art or created a future in which the artist is slowly removed from the picture. So, is Tilly Norwood the future of cinema? Or is she a dangerous experiment that Hollywood may eventually regret? Misaligned is currently in early development, and no official release date has been announced.